Hello, royalties! I am Coach Irene. In this exquisite video, we will be looking at all about direct and indirect speech. Let's jump right in. Welcome to Level Up with Coach Irene. Direct and indirect speech are two ways of reporting what someone has said. Direct speech involves quoting the exact words spoken by someone. It uses quotation marks to enclose the spoken words. It is formed with reporting verb plus comma plus quoted speech in quotation marks. For example, she said, "I am happy." If you observe, what she said is in quote, reporting exactly what was spoken. Another example would be, she exclaimed, "What a beautiful day." In this sentence, "what a beautiful day" is in quotes, indicating the exact words the person said. Let us look at the key features of direct speech. Number one, quotation marks. It is used to indicate the exact words spoken. Number two, comma. It is used to separate the reporting verb from the quoted speech. For example, he asked, "Are you coming?" If you observe, he asked has a comma separating the reporting verb from the quoted speech. Number three, punctuation inside quotes. It indicates whether the reported speech was a statement, a question, a command, or an exclamation. And they are placed within the quotation marks if it was part of the original speech. For example, she exclaimed, "What a beautiful car!" Direct speech are said exactly how it was spoken. This is the reason for the quotation marks, implying the exact words of the speaker. When said, you don't add or subtract from what was said. Moving on, let us look at indirect speech. Indirect speech, also called reported speech, is used to express what someone else said without using their exact words. It often involves changes in pronouns, verb tenses, and other words to fit the context. It is formed with reporting verb plus that which is optional plus reported clause. For example, she said that she was happy. This sentence is an indirect speech because the pronoun she changed from I when reported. By that I mean, if it was a direct speech, it should be, she said, "I am happy." This is a direct speech. However, when it is changed into an indirect speech, it becomes, she said that she was happy. If you observe, I changed into she and am changed into was, making the verb tense shift from am, which is present, to was, which is past, to reflect backshifting, which occurs when the reporting verb said is in the past. In reported speech, the word that is often used to introduce the reported clause, though it can be omitted. For example, she said she was happy. Let us look at the key changes in indirect speech. Number one, pronouns. Adjust pronouns according to the context. For example, for direct speech, he said, "I love pizza." When making it an indirect speech, it becomes, he said that he loved pizza. In this sentence, I became he. Number two, the use of tenses. Tense typically shifts back, called backshifting, if the reporting verb is in the past. For example, she said, "I am going to the market" becomes, She said that she was going to the market. Here, the tense changed from am to was. This is because the reporting verb was in the past. By that I mean she said. Said here is in the past. So when reporting, you should change the present tense to past tense. Number 3, change in time and place words. For example, now becomes then. Today becomes that day. Here becomes there. Tomorrow becomes the next day. Yesterday becomes the previous day. For example, for direct speech, we have, he said I will call you tomorrow. It becomes, he said that he would call me the next day. Another example would be, she asked, where are you going? When changed to indirect speech, it becomes, she asked where I was going. Let us look at changes in different types of sentences with regards to direct speech and indirect speech. For statement, we have, he said, I am tired. For indirect speech, he said that he was tired. For questions, she asked, are you coming? For indirect speech, we have, she asked if I was coming. For commands, we have direct speech as, he said, close the door. For indirect speech, we have, he told me to close the door. For exclamation, she said, what a beautiful place. For indirect speech, it becomes, she said, what a beautiful place it was. Let us look at some exceptions and special cases to the rule of indirect speech. Number 1, do not change the tense if the reporting verb is in the present or if the information is still true. For example, for direct speech, we have, he says, I like apples. When changed to indirect speech, it would be, he says that he likes apples. If you observe, he says wasn't changed because says here indicates that the information is still true. Number 2, the use of modals. Will changes to would. Can changes to could. Must changes to have to. For example, I will help you. For indirect speech, it becomes, he said he would help you. Another example would be, I can swim. For indirect speech, it becomes, she said she could swim. You must finish it. For indirect speech, it becomes, he said, I have to finish it. Use to plus verb in indirect speech. For example, he said, close the door. For indirect speech, it becomes, he told me to close the door. For negative command, use not to plus verb. For example, she said, don't be late. For indirect speech, it becomes, she told me not to be late. For suggestions, we have, he said, let's go out. For indirect speech, it becomes, he suggested going out. When using had in indirect speech, it doesn't change. For example, he said I had a car. For indirect speech, we have, he said that he had a car. Another example would be, she said I had finished my homework before dinner. For indirect speech, it becomes, she said that she had finished her homework before dinner. Since had is already in the past or past perfect form, it usually stays the same when moving from direct to indirect speech. With this, we have come to the end of this lesson. I believe that you got value. Do well to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our exquisite channel. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.